Welcome to this yin yoga class. You won't need any props for this class. Unless you like to have a block or a cushion, then you can have those handy. This is a great class for relaxation, for deep stretching, but it also works great for athletes to help to boost recovery. And it can be also used as a post-workout stretch routine. So let's begin in a lunge position, which is, if you don't have a cushion mat, you might want to cushion the knee on the back leg. Hands on the inside of your foot. So just allow for the hips to start to settle into the stretch. And we're going to shift ourselves into slow, steady breathing in and out through the nose. Release and change sides. Now come into extended child stretch with the toes curled under. Reach your hips back towards your heels. And then adding a side stretch for the lats. Let's walk the hands over to the right. And as you ground down through the left hand, exhale the air out and feel the front of your front side ribs draw in and down towards your left hip. Slow breath into the nose and slower breath out to help to release tension. Walk your hands over to the other side. So instead of letting the front of the rib cage hang, as you exhale, use your breath to move the front side rib in and down towards your right hip. And then maintain some of that as you breathe in. Breathe more into the side and back rib. So the way that we direct the breath can actually influence where we feel the stretch and what is stretching. Also, the rhythm of the breath will help to cue the body to relax deeper into each stretch. So if you feel like you're holding your breath or something's too intense, it's going to be counterproductive to what we're doing here. Back off just a little so you can breathe easy. Release, come back up. Now with the hands under the shoulders and the knees under the hips, let's round the back, roll the spine into flexion. And then starting from just your hips like a wave, flip your sit bones up, tailbone up, and then let the lower back roll into a back bend, middle, upper back, head and neck. Like a wave, go the other way. Roll the hips under. Roll lower, middle, upper back, head and neck. One more time, wave through the spine. Inhale. And exhale. Good, release that. Now step your right foot up to the outside of your right hand and lift the back knee up. Second round of lunge here. You can intensify the stretch by lowering down onto your elbows perhaps, or maybe an intermediate step would be elbows down onto a block, but it's not a requirement. You might feel a good enough stretch from this position. Step back and change sides. Now, before we practice coming to a squat position, it's just so good for the ankles, knees, and hips. I'm going to do a little dynamic mobilization. So walk your hands around to the center. I'll change sides so you don't have a view of the back side. And now with your big toes turned out just a little bit, come up onto your fingertips. If this already feels like a deep stretch for your inner legs, bring it in just a little bit. If not so much, you can take the feet a little wider. And then let's lunge to the right. So bend the right knee and stretch from your left inner leg towards your foot. Come back up and change sides. Reach and lengthen from the opposite inner leg towards the foot when you're going away from. Change sides. Walk over to the right as you stretch the left. Some might be able to start to flip the toes up on the left side and drop the hip deeper. Change sides, not a requirement. Remember not to force or strain. So just walking here side to side, pausing for a few moments. Some might be able to lift the heel of the squat leg slightly to drop fully. Some might be able to do it with the heel down. All depends on where your mobility is at. Like so. Last round. Good. And with the feet parallel, slide your hands back, let your head drop. Then inhale, flat back, heel toe your feet into a squat position, a comfortable squat position for you. You're going to take the hands back onto the insides of the legs again and drop your hips as low as is comfortable for you. Broken elbow pose. So don't drop so low that you hurt your elbows. And if the hands feel like they're in the way and you're confident enough to go right into a full squat, you can do that instead. This is kind of a prep pose where you got the hands back. Then lift the hips up. Parallel your feet, clasp your hands behind your back and reach your knuckles overhead. If your shoulders are broad or tight, you could take a little strap or band, which I don't have. I thought I had one. Or a blanket or whatever. Something in between your hands so that you can get a little deeper stretch of the shoulder. Then release that, plant your hands down and step back to down dog stretch. Or a more relaxed version of this pose would be extended child's. Now lower down onto your knees and sit back. If you have a knee issue, then you're going to prop. You're going to stick things underneath your hips until it feels comfortable. Or you're just going to put your hands down and practice leaning weight back until that's appropriate for you. Whatever angle that is, and just breathe. Do not force. Do not push into pain. If you have the quad flexibility, the knee health, from this position to walk the hands back, you could do that. Now if you're thinking, I'd like to get this nice chest opener, but I don't want to explode my knees, then you could just do that with your legs stretched out in front of you. You could just sit with the legs out in front of you, walk your hands back and lean back like so. So if you want to switch positions now, we're going to hold this for 5 more breaths or 30 seconds, whatever comes last. As you roll the shoulders and chest open, see if you can find the opening from the upper chest as opposed to pushing your lower ribs forward. Check the lower ribs back into position so that the collarbones and the upper ribs can start to spread. Focus on breathing all the way down into the breath container. Those who are more flexible are welcome to drop down onto the elbows or lie flat if that's in the cards for you. But just remember to be kind to yourself here and to practice doing what you should do for the health of your body instead of what you can do. So you might be able to jam yourself very deeply, but then later in the day or that night, I don't know, why does my knee hurt? Why does my lower back hurt? Why does my shoulder hurt? Well, it's often because of the things that we're doing. Okay, now release. Come back onto the hands and the knees. So I'm going to give you 2 different options here. You can come into a low lunge position. You could add on by catching the foot. Or a little more advanced thumbnail variation would be to come into a side plank position and lift the leg. So the right hand down, right knee down. And then to bend the left knee, reach back with the hand, catch the foot. A little trick is to bring the knee forward a little bit, especially if you don't have the deep knee flexion, and then to stretch into it. Now, whichever variation you're doing of the lunge, we can get a little deeper stretch into the quads and into the hip flexors by rolling the buttock down out of the lower back. That will minimize the amount of lumbar extension, so then we can move more extension into the thoracic spine. Reach the buttock and the knee out of your lower back as you breathe the chest open. Nice, release that. And change sides. Let's see what it looks like from the back side. So if the knee doesn't bend very well, you can bring the knee far forward and then catch. And that will help. So instead of letting your lower back hinge, roll the buttocks away from your lower back. And that should give you more freedom to spin the chest open. Hopefully it will enhance the sensation in front of the hip, quad stuff, front of the leg stuff. As you breathe here. Notice the places in your body where you're overdoing. There's parts of you that are a workaholic. And there's parts of you maybe that stuck in a little bit of sloth. So let the workaholic areas in the body just calm down a little bit. So there's a more global feeling of opening in space. Release. Good job. Now come to a kneeling position or sit cross-legged if kneeling is just too much. And do a stretch for the right shoulder. Cross your right arm over your body. Hook your left elbow from under. Release. Change sides. Release. Then curl your toes under and sit back. So this might require cushioning for either the front or the back or both to start to train this toes curled under position. It can be kind of gnarly on the toes. My teacher used to call it toe torture asana. We're going to come back into that same stretch. Now the arm situation is just to distract you from the torture that's happening to your feet. But this is such an important pose for your feet, but just like anything that we're doing today, you want to ease into it. So if you're on a scale of 1 to 10, you want to be at a 5. When I take this amount of props, I feel like I'm at a 5. If I go without them, it shoots up to like a 7 or 8. That's not so beneficial because then my nervous system is fighting it and it's too much stimulus. I'll feel it the next day. I'll feel like, ooh, big toe joint does not like that. So we just want to go to that balance place. Let's practice doing that. Change sides. All right, release that. If it's feeling like too much, had enough, then you can just sit cross-legged. I've trained this quite a bit, so I can sit here comfortably for a couple minutes. But let's take a little break in between. Regardless, stretch back to a short dog. Stretch calf stuff, ankle stuff here. Maybe lift and spread the toes, wiggle the toes a little bit. And make your way to seated. So as we go to sit in the wide-legged position, depending on how tight your hip flexors are and your hamstrings, to sit like this might look a little like this. You want to stick stuff underneath your hips. Folded blanket, couple folded blankets. If you do something firm like a block, I would still put something soft over top of it so that your sit bones aren't grinding into a hard block. Good boy. Now from this position, you're just going to breathe, let the thigh bones drop. Now, if you're more flexible and it doesn't feel like anything to sit like this, go ahead and fold forward and catch your feet. Good. Take Baddha Konasana legs, soles of the feet together, knees wide apart. That. And if you have time to, you could lie down for a few minutes here flat, just working on breathing. Otherwise, I'll say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for today's class. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, take a moment to hit the like button and leave a comment below. Let me know what you enjoyed about today's class. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure to do that. All these things really help to support the channel, and often you guys are asking me, what is the best way to support? Those are all awesome ways. If you're looking for the best way to support, this is by becoming a member of the Conscious Movement community, which is my exclusive membership. And also, as I mentioned at the beginning of the class, I created a course for students who have been practicing with me for a while already here on YouTube, and you're looking to deepen and advance your practice, then I recommend joining me for the Conscious Movement course. This is a course of about 65 videos where I take you from wherever level you're at and I help you to progress in your practice. This will help you to transform as a yoga practitioner. And these are the exact practices that I use for myself and for my students to help them achieve results in their yoga practice. In addition to that, you'll get 2 exclusive weekly classes, a 30-minute class and an hour-long class. And you'll get access to all of my other exclusive courses, which includes the mobility course, the strength and flexibility course, the chakra course. There's so many more. I could tell you about them all, but I recommend that you just visit my website, yogawithtim.com, and click the members tab, or you can click the link below in the description or in the first comment. I've also linked below in the description some other videos that I think you might enjoy if you enjoyed this class. Again, thank you. I appreciate you, and especially to the Conscious Movement community members. Without you guys, I couldn't keep this channel going, so thanks so much. I'll see you next time. Have a great day.